So, I decided to quickly take the 8values test as a video because I don't have any video ideas, and this is my first video. But by the way, I'm only 15. I might not fully have an opinion on every single one of the questions, but I'm just gonna try my best if that makes sense. So yeah, hope you enjoy. You'll be presented with a series of statements. For each one, click the button with your opinion on it. Right, got it. Oppression by corporations is more of a concern than oppression by governments. No, I'm gonna say disagree because I think getting a job or dealing with corporations is important, but obviously the government and law dealing with that is, I would argue, more important than almost anything else, I'd say. So I'm going to say disagree. It is necessary for the government to intervene in the economy to protect consumers. See, this is one of the questions I'm not entirely haven't developed opinion, but see, I tend to think that the government doesn't really need to have any involvement in what other people's business is, but I guess if there was someone getting scammed, that should be against the law, and therefore they should be persecuted for that. So I'm going to go with agree again. The freer the markets, the freer the people. I'm going to go with agree for that one. I'm not sure. I'll go with agree. It is better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare for all citizens. I'm going to go with agree because I do have the opinion that welfare, I mean, it's not really my thing. I do think that people with disabilities should be given money, and I think pensioners should be too. But like, there's people who sit on their asses all day and don't do anything, and they get oftentimes more money and do end up better off than people who may not be very academically gifted, and so they don't get a high paying job. They get minimum wage, and there are people who work hard with what they have and do the job and get their money, and I think that's what people should do. They should work with what they have and go as far as they can with what they've got, not just be like, well, I'll sell my ass and the government will pay me anyway. So I'm going to say agree for that one. Publicly funded research is more beneficial to the people than leaving it to the market. See, again, these questions, because I mainly have more social opinions than like market type questions. I know these are the first ones, and things that I know more about are coming. Publicly funded research, so it's publicly funded. That would be charity, I guess. I'm just gonna go with it's publicly funded, it's voluntary, I guess, and leaving it to the market. I'm going to go with neutral, unsure. International trade is beneficial. I would say yes, because I just feel as if the more people you trade with, the better results you're going to get, and certain things you can export to more places, and people are going to want them more if it's not in their country, if that makes sense. Certain like crops or whatever. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Fuck yourself. No, I don't agree with that. I am not a commie scum. It would be best if social programs were abolished in favour of private charity. I'm going to go with agree because, hey, taxes should be increased on the rich to provide for the poor. No, I'm going to disagree because if you want to raise taxes on the rich, because I mean, if you're going to tax by income, like a percentage or whatever, why should that go to people who don't have money? Like if I don't really think that's fair necessarily, because why should it just go to someone else, like taking from one person and giving it to another? Like inheritance is a legitimate form of wealth. I mean, there are people who well, if for instance, if I got really rich through, like, I worked, I had a successful business, and I had a child, I'm going to want my money to go to my child. Like, it's only logical. I'm going to go with agree. Public utilities like roads and electricity should be publicly owned. Are they not? Like, public utilities like roads. I'm going to go with neutral or unsure for this one. Excessive government intervention is a threat to the economy. I'm going to go with agree for this one, I guess. Whatever, I guess so. Those with the greater ability to pay should receive better health care. I mean, if there's something that would be expensive and you can afford it, then sure, yeah. Quality education is a right of all people. Yeah, I'm going to go with agree because I think that the public schooling system we have, it's you don't pay for that. Like, I think private schools should be an option, but I also think that if you should be allowed to go to any school, like anywhere, education, maybe not the best, but it should still be quality education. But I do agree with like, you know, in the past, because by the way, I live in the UK, and we had grammar schools, and you would pass your 11 plus, which if you were smart enough, then you'd go to the better school, which I do agree with. But for this question, I am going to go with agree. The means of production should belong to the workers who use them. No, I'm going to say disagree, because if, again, putting myself in the position of the employer, sorry, my Snapchat, like, threw me off. Yeah, if I was the employer and I had a factory, I employ someone to work for me, they don't get my belongings. Wait, what did I click on that one? No, I clicked disagree, yeah. Because it shouldn't belong to them if it's mine. They're working for me, and what they're getting out of that is money, not possessions. They can buy their own if they really want to. Like, no. The United Nations should be abolished. Again, I'm probably going to sound like an idiot throughout because I don't really know about the United Nations. So I'm just going to click neutral. Oh, I think I clicked disagree. I'm just going to click neutral or sure. Military action by our nation is often necessary to protect it. Yeah, I'm going to say agree. I support regional, disagree. It is important to maintain our national sovereignty. Yes, agree. A united world government would be beneficial to mankind. I'm gonna say no, because I think we do all have different cultures, and I don't want to mix my culture with some fucking Saudi Arabia type shite. Like, a united world government, I think people should just My government for me, your government for you, and your government's probably going to be shite. It is more important to retain peaceful relations than to further our strength. I do believe peaceful relations to be important, but would I say more important than to further your strength? Because I think that you should have a balance. You shouldn't be just fine with everyone and then you get walked all over. But you shouldn't, I guess, hate everyone. I know I'm gonna say disagree because, hey, why not? Wars do not need to be justified to other countries. If it involves them, then I don't know. Crap. If they're going to be impacted, like for instance, if I was going to go to, I don't know. If it's going to involve them, not saying that you would be against them. Obviously, you're not going to go and justify with them. If you're going to war with someone you clearly don't like them, you don't need to justify anything to them. But if it's going to affect someone and you're not going against them, then I guess you should. And I'm not saying to never go to war. I'm just saying try and avoid it, if that makes sense. So I'm going to say neutral on this one. Military spending is a waste of money. No, you need an army, like the hell. International aid is a waste of money. I'm not sure. Might go with agree for this one. My nation is great. Well, Great Britain. Haha. Yeah, it'd be kind of ironic if I clicked on disagree. I would say there are things that could be changed. Like there is a very significant increase in terrorism recently, and I don't like that. But I'm still going to. And there are quite a few things that, even as a child, I feel as if my position is being like. I don't know how to say it, but I'm still going to say agree anyway. Research should be conducted on an international scale. Depends what you're researching. I'm going to say neutral because it entirely depends on the context. Governments should be accountable to the international community. No, governments should be accountable to the country they're governing. And thought that's what a government was. Even when protesting an authoritarian government, violence is not acceptable. See, I don't approve of rioting. Like, if you live in a this is more prevalent in America than here. But for instance, the people who didn't like Trump rising to power protested with their pussy hats, and I thought that was ridiculous. And then they protested with violence, which I think is completely unacceptable. But I think if you are actually living under real tyranny, not what these people perceive it to be, then violence may be called for. So because of the even when protesting an authoritarian government thing, I'm going to say disagree. My religious values should be spread as much as possible. I'm going to go with disagree because I don't know. I guess our nation's values should be spread as much as possible. Strongly agree. Am I wait 1 minute? Yeah, strongly agree. Never mind. It is very important to maintain law and order. Agree. The general populace makes poor decisions. See, what I think is that they're still the majority, but they're lessening in numbers over us. But because they're still the majority, I do think most people, especially from what we see in like mainstream media and what the celebrities say, they are very uninformed, even more uninformed than I am. And I swear throughout the entirety of this I probably look really stupid, like I don't know anything. But hey, I'm just a child. So I'm going to say yes, they do make poor decisions. Agree. Victimless crimes, such as drug use, should not be crimes at all. I can see the argument that they should be considered as less of a crime, which I do definitely agree with, but to not be considered crimes at all, I think this might come off badly, but I do think that they should be treated as crimes because, like, you're smoking heroin, like something like that. It's not good, and it should be discouraged as much as it can. So I'm going to go with disagree. The sacrifice of some civil liberties, if necessary, to protect us from acts of terrorism. I agree with doing as much as you can in the name of counter-terrorism, so I'm going to go with agree. Like, if you have to do something that normally you wouldn't do and wouldn't be okay to stop you being blown up, then yes, go for it. Government surveillance is necessary in the modern world. I don't like it. Like, I want to be able to talk about what I want to talk about, do what I want to do online without people watching me, you know what I mean? But at the same time, what I said about the counter-terrorism, it definitely is necessary. Like, it's very necessary. The very existence of the state is a threat to our liberty. Well, I don't think so. I don't think you should live in complete anarchy, no. Regardless of political opinions, it is important to side with your country. Not always, no. I have to say disagree. I'm not mindless sheep. Anything could happen. I wouldn't necessarily just mindlessly side with my country. Like, no. No authority should be left unquestioned. I think you should question, but like, you should always have your own opinion and try to be an individual with your own thoughts, but you shouldn't constantly try and find an issue with everything. So I think there should be moderation, so I'm just going to go with agree. Oh, I cannot pronounce this word. A hierarchical state, if that's correct, is best. That's the only way you're going to get a state, because it's the only way it's going to work with people in power. That's what it means. So I'm going to say strongly agree, because I'm not a commie. Again, not Antifa over here. It is important that the government follows the majority opinion, even if it is wrong. See, that's I'm going to have to go with agree, because democracy. The stronger the leadership, the better. No. It can be good. It can be bad and powerful. Like, no, not necessarily. Democracy is more than a decision-making process. Is it? Democracy is you vote for what you want, and that's how you make decisions. I'm going to go in neutral, because I don't want to undermine democracy, but like, that is how you make decisions. Like, environmental regulations are essential. Neutral, I don't really give a shit. A better world will come from automation, science, and technology. Agree, I think technology is the future. Children should be educated in religious or traditional values. They have said the or here. They haven't just said and. And I believe that having values and, to an extent, tradition, well, not to that much of an extent, but you know what I mean, is important, and you should keep the culture and things. I'm not very good at wording things today as well, but yeah, I'm going to say agree with this one. Traditions are of no value on their own. I'm going to go with disagree. I think that it is important. Did I click disagree for that one? I'm going to. I don't know, because I'm on my phone, I can't tell if I'm pressing it right. Religion should play a role in government. No, I don't agree with that. Churches should be taxed the same way other institutions are taxed. Neutral. I mean, climate change is currently one of the greatest threats to our way of life. Disagree. It is important that we work as a united world to combat climate change. You can't do it on your own. But do I really give a shit about combating climate change? I'm going to go with, because I'm not necessarily saying that climate change doesn't exist. Well, as in from what the humans do emit, you know, the gases of carbon dioxide, and I think that can have a negative impact on the environment. But compared to what's emitted by nature, naturally, we don't do that much, and I don't think it's as much of a big deal as it's made out to be. Also, I need to stop rambling. This video is going to be like an hour. Ugh. It is important that we work, and no one's going to watch this either. Oh well, it is. Yeah, I already said. Society was better many years ago than it is now. I'd say in some ways. I don't like the way that there's like stupid ass feminists and social justice warriors now, and they didn't used to be in the past. But then again, if you're going back too far back, like women weren't allowed to work, black people were slaves, I don't agree with that either. So I'd say perhaps about 10 years ago, it would be better. So I'm going to go with agree, but keep that context. I'm not that, It is important that we maintain the traditions of our past. Agree. It is important that we think in the long term beyond our lifespans. Yes, I think it is important that we consider our time, but also the time past us as well. The time that we will never see. I think both are important. Reason is more important than maintaining our culture. Oh, I think reason does fit into what I believe our culture to be, but then again, if you come from a bad culture, it's, for instance, very strong, like those in Islamic countries like the Middle East, I think that reason is more important than your right to have a male guardian and bullshit like that, which is another thing that annoys me about feminism, because it's stupid how they don't acknowledge that. But anyway, that's a different point. I'm just kind of saying they're selfish. They only care about saying compliments is oppression and mansplaining and manspreading and make up bullshit like that, when there are people in awful cultures who actually are oppressed, and I think that's bad. But I'm getting sidetracked. I'm going to go with agree, because I do believe reason and logic is important. Drugs should be legalized or decriminalized. I'm going to have to go disagree, and I know this is a point that many people do disagree with me on, but I just don't like drugs. I'm not for that. Same-sex marriage should be legal. Agree, I don't have anything against that. Our cultures are superior to others. No, wait, what? No cultures are superior to others. Oh, we strongly disagree. Disagree with that one. Sex outside marriage is immoral. I'd say having a child outside marriage is a little bit improper, if that makes sense. But I think it's relatively normal to try it out with somebody before you marry them. I'm going to go with neutral on this one. Not because I don't understand, but because, if that makes sense. If we accept migrants at all, it is important that they assimilate into our culture. Strongly agree. Because I think that it's a good method of counter-terrorism. Myself, I think if you come somewhere, you live there, you learn the language, you live there, because you'll if you come to live, you'll live the way that the country runs. They're not going to change for you. You have to change for the country. Like, no. Abortion should be prohibited in most or all cases. If the woman's life is in danger, I would say if she will die if she gives birth, then do not give birth. But in all other cases, including rape, because of a story, an account I heard by Rebecca Kiesling. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but yeah. And she was conceived out of rape, and I find her to be really motivational and what she says. So I'm going to say strongly agree, because that's literally almost all cases. The only thing I'm against is when the mother's going to die. Gun ownership should be prohibited for those without a valid reason. We don't have guns here, but I think if is protecting yourself a valid reason, because I think it is, but if that's not counted as a valid reason, then I'm going to disagree. I think if you come and you're like, oh, please can I oh yeah, borrow a gun to, you know what I mean, like, I'm going to say disagree, because I don't know what they count as a valid reason, because we don't have them in my country. I support single-payer universal health care. What the fuck is that? What the? Neutral, unsure, I have no idea. Prostitution should be illegal. Again, I disagree with it. I'm just gonna say agree, I guess. But I think people can get around it relatively easily. Maintaining family values is essential. Agree. To chase progress at all costs is dangerous. Strongly agree. Genetic modification is a force for good, even on humans. It depends. If it's to save a life, it really does depend. I swear my little brother's just come home now. Please be quiet! Shit. Right, so I'm no longer alone. I'm gonna lock myself in a room. Quality video making. I probably won't even edit this out. We should open our borders to immigration. Disagree. I mean, it should be limited. I'm not saying never allowed anyone in. I mean, that's, you know what I mean. I just think with the terrorism, like the ban that they were going to do in the US makes sense. 1 minute. Hey, I'm making a video. Please can you be quiet? Please be quiet! Ugh. I've only got 2 questions. Oh, I hate my life. I've only got 2 questions left. I'm not going to read them out now. I don't want to be stalked. Should be as concerned about foreign citizens. No, disagree. Oh, not with culture. I don't. If you're on about the legal system, then I'd say yes. But if you're on about people in the streets, I'd say no. So I'm going to go with disagree. Mainly because of culture. I think I should... Please, can you not come here? I'm making a video. Now my life's gone to shit because of that fucking... I'm going to go with disagree. So those are my results. I'm really sorry the end of the video kind of went to shite because my family came home and I wasn't expecting them to come home for another 5 minutes where the video would just been over. I timed it perfectly. But hey, anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and in case any of you were wondering, as of now I'm 15 and a half, and these are my results. Things might change, things might not. I'm just putting this out there now as my first YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Goodbye.